Hi, I'm Anthony. This is When Anthony Draws. I'm a fantasy artist, and I'm going to tell you about my art in the videos to come today and other days. That's right, more than one day. And for that, I'm going to refer to a little list of details. I'm just going to talk off the top of my heart relating to my art. And so, first of all, we're going to talk about this one called The Jellyfish Mermaid. That's the existing title. Or Melissa, the Jellyfish Mermaid. And just wait and you'll see where that comes from. I don't even really know. It doesn't really come from anywhere, but you'll see why it's named that as much as I do. So first of all, I started with a sketch, and I have a box of sketches. It's just right over there. Not the treasure chest, actually. That's something you'll maybe find out one day. And so will I. The first thing to do to create art is to sketch it, right? We have an idea. I actually had a few sketches of mermaids, or ideas of sketches of mermaids, come to mind while I was meditating. That's often how it happens for me. I do Vipassana meditation as taught by Sen Goenkaji in the tradition of Sayagi Ubakin. And the practice involves breath and body sensations, observing them equanimously. And there's much more to say about that. But essentially, when you're meditating, when you're doing that practice, the mind tends to wander at times, and therefore it goes into things that are either they're not present, they're past or future, or the imagination of either something that is relevant to daily life in terms of thinking about something worldly, or fascinating images, which tends to be where I go because I'm a fantasy artist. So my mind will go to different things, and this is a great place, not intentional, but it is a great place or practice for me to come up with ideas to draw. And for a very long time, I'd get a lot of ideas, and that's why the box over there is full. And I have over 500 of those pages scanned into JPEGs on my computer to work with for a very long time. I haven't, as much as I've created a lot of art for stories I'm working on, I've created different projects. These original ideas that would come to me, I would often put them aside thinking, well, I have so much other stuff on the go. And it's only been the last little while where I realized that's really what speaks to me. It's really what's in my heart. It is my artistic voice. And unless I find out or explore that voice in the raw authenticity, which is, this is cool, and I want to draw this because it's cool, then I am closing the lid on the treasure chest, and I'm really not doing anyone a favor, because the projects that otherwise, that I would be doing otherwise, they get less potency because I'm holding back my creative impulses, and therefore that feeds into everything I do. And it's like anything in life, when you're just not being authentic, then it doesn't work. You have problems. You'll get physical pains, you'll get anything can happen in terms of what shows up from that, but essentially we all know how important it is to be authentic. I feel like what I would like to do now is have these very authentic, relaxed chats. I used to do a lot of them recording myself live, drawing, and with a webcam kind of thing. Now I feel like talking about the originals that I'm finishing, because the difference between me now and me several months ago is I'm going to finish a bunch of this original art that just comes to me that feels like authentic, and still going to do all the other stuff, but adding this element feels like what I really would like to focus on, and therefore I'm going to share it with you because that's what lights me up. And my theme with my art is very much in the aspect of being lit up. Following one's joy. We're on an adventure together. If you follow my social media, I am posting the art I create, but I'm posting the process and the ideas first and as I go, so that you can be involved, and it's like a magical choice adventure. So I create a story, we ask, would you like me to paint this or this? What do you want to see completed? You choose, and we go ahead and paint it. I paint it. So I'm the captain of the ship. We're on a quest to meet the center of the heart, the center of ourselves, really, through my art. And what lights you up, what lights me up, and together we're traveling on this adventure. These videos will be a little behind the scenes, in a sense, for you to understand more about me as the artist, more about who I am, why I'm doing this. I think, for me, I'm always interested in how people think, how people are who they are and why, and I think it's important to be visible, to be not only a creator in terms of a visual medium, a creator in a form that is humane and is responsive as a human, as best as a human can be, to all of life. So an artist of life. And if you see that in me, then that's fantastic. It doesn't matter to me. Though it's nice to be understood, right? And at the same time, this whole path, the reason I'm creating this art, is self-realization, self-authenticity, self-actualization, and therefore you are the mirror to my expression. And the more honest, the more true my expression in terms of what I wish to say, what I wish to bring to the world, I will see that in the world. And you are I'm grateful for you being a witness. So, watch these videos to be a witness to that. I'm going to continue talking about the mermaid. So, started with this, I actually had multiple ideas when I was meditating, and then I sketched them out quick because that's what I like to do, and I, capture the essence of the idea. And I am getting more into also adding color right away, putting them digitally and scanning them and adding color, because there's something about when I first get the idea to capture it quickly and just don't leave it. I have all of these sketches that I didn't color, and I wonder, some of the essence of what I pictured, what came to mind, because sometimes it's closer to get it, sometimes it's elusive, and it doesn't fully, it's hard. It's an art to translate something mental or visual in the imagination to the page, especially in an efficient or effective way that is getting that concept down without spending hours on it. That being said, I sketched a few mermaids, and they were okay. But then I sketched one fresh that I hadn't thought about in my head. It's like the pencil just did it. This is kind of how I play piano, actually, where some of the stuff that ended up in our songs when we had a band for 6 years, when we created 18 original songs that were all about 10 minutes each, generally. Some of the riffs is just like I just did it, and that was done, and it stuck. So this was that. This was that. Instead of having the vision in my mind and having the task to capture it on paper, I just drew this, and I thought it was cooler than the other mermaids I had drawn. And the thing I liked about it particularly was that silhouette. And that means if I turn the whole inside of the body all dark, just like you would see little cartoons like Looney Tunes or Bugs Bunny or something like Mickey Mouse, they all have this distinct shape. It's very, it's the shape language of the character. It's the silhouette of the character. And Homer Simpson, any kind of cartoon does it. And even realistic art does it too. So that's the segue. The silhouette I loved, and I love the movement of it and how it looks like a squid. And this kind of eerie, like, the vibe that really resonates with me is a vibe of, I don't know if I want to be that close to it. I would like to see this thing because it's so cool, but at the same time to be in the atmosphere of this particular creature or whatever it is that we're witnessing. It's like, maybe get me out of there as quick as you can possibly can, because there's just something off about it. And not like creepy off. I'm not a huge fan of gory stuff or super dark, but a little dark. And almost like it's a prison that you can't see, in a way. That's, my brother and I were creating a series of videos that, I won't go into that now, but we were talking and he said something about psychological restrictions that people put on themselves. And I thought of my art, and it was very resonant to this perception of being unconsciously or becoming conscious of the inner trappings that we do to ourselves. So you look at the mermaid and there's this sense of something is not right, something's a trap. There's like an illusion happening, and there's this urgency to break through the illusion of what's occurring. And this is really cool. I'm going to take a picture of this after. I'm looking across my room at some rags, and when I look between these little cracks of this wooden box that I had cut out a little chunk of, and there's these rags, and they make this landscape. So I see like a mountain with a lake or hills in front of it, and it's very cool. And that's how my mind works. So I'm going to ramble, and you're going to deal with it. So that thing I was saying about the prison of one's mind, not the prison necessarily, but the fact that we can put these, I think it's that sense of illusion and that sense of something just is off, and it's unpredictable, and it's a little eerie and a little uneasy and all that kind of stuff. So when I created this image, it was very intentional to get that theme, and I feel like I got very close, if not, pretty on where I was headed, at least for this particular image. So that was cool. And part of this process of beginning the Jellyfish mermaid, Melissa, was that I did the sketch, liked it so much I wanted to keep it, scanned it in, blew it up on Photoshop, decided to just start drawing it painting over top right there. So instead of, say, doing a really fine traditional drawing of something like I have with some other things that I'll show, like the woman with the snakes here, it's a very refined sketch. With a jellyfish, I just simply started adding color right on Photoshop. It was a urgency of, I really desire to finish this image, and the extra steps of doing a more final traditional drawing before painting over top of that and stuff like that it felt like more time, and I just wanted to get at it. And also I liked the sketch so much that I didn't really, I could refine it while painting. So that's what I did. And that went very nicely. While I was painting it, some of the process of doing so involved getting reference of jellyfish, getting reference of skulls, and some anatomy of the arm that turned into a fin. And I worked out kind of where I wanted the popping parts, and the whole thing ended up very glowy in the end, which it was intentional, though at some point I kind of switched from deciding that there would be more shadows and it would be only certain parts would be lit up a little more. It was a question of how dark do I make this, because I want it to be deep underwater, as if you'd be a scuba diver, or you'd be someone in a big submarine tank and your lights would hit them. Or like with the images of the jellyfish, I don't know exactly what technology they're using to capture those, but the luminescence and the glow factor is there, and so I went with that kind of vibe. And so you don't know exactly how you're seeing this, but the essence of it is you are the witness. Somebody is seeing this creature, and it's beautiful, eerie, and in the distance, not like you can see the full body. It's not too far away, but there's a sense of space from the viewers, what I intended, and that the jellyfish is, the creature is, being witnessed from afar, and then the essence is, well, I don't want to get any closer to that. And the name of this video, or the name of this creature is Melissa, simply because that's what I channeled. A friend of mine asked me what the name of it was, and I said Jellyfish Mermaid. And they said, oh, come on, you gotta come up with a better name than that. And so I just thought about it for a moment, and what came to me was Melissa. And I mean, I do know some Melissas, but I don't know why this creature is named Melissa. It's not super clear to me, though sometimes I feel that as we let ourselves simply do what comes, that we can pick up the pieces and organize the puzzle and line it all up in hindsight, and it all makes perfect sense. So that is about it for this image. Hope you enjoy the process pictures, seeing it just be colored along the way. I kept it very simple brush-wise, pretty much just using one of the basic brushes, and it worked quite nice because it has that bit of shininess that can occur with digital painting. If you're rendering skin with this brush that has no texture, it can look more shiny, like a jellyfish or something like that, right? So for me, this worked out nice, and kept it simple, painted it right away, had the colors in mind immediately, and I've also made prints of it. I am selling prints, so if you would like, they are limited edition, and you can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or through YouTube, though I'm not as familiar with YouTube's messaging, so Instagram would be better. And that's about it. So we will see you on the next time around. Give me an eye, Captain, in the comments if you like this video, and we will be back shortly. I will, and my art.